Hello, thank you for joining us on CoreTV News Hour. I am Frank Omalape, and here are some of the reports we're filing at this time. The president of Benin, Buhari, has commended his Nigerian counterpart over the recent successes in the war against insurgency in the country's northeast region. He also described the manner President Goodluck Jonathan considered defeat as worthy of emulation by all African leaders. President Yai, who said this shortly after he visited President Jonathan at the presidential villa in Abuja, maintained that he won't be forgotten in a hurry.
He successfully managed and led Nigeria to fight Boko Haram. It was not easy. I remind him that Nigeria is the only country to have been able to face this plague in West Africa. Because in our countries, with small countries, it was not possible. Nigeria is a great, great country, and the President Ebele is a great president. It's time to say that during his mandate, Nigeria has been also recognized as the first economic power in Africa. It's not easy also. President is a very great statesman.
President-elect Muhammadu Buhari says the incoming government will take the issue of national security seriously, especially in the northeast. This, according to him, is because the activities of Boko Haram has affected commerce and industry locally as well as across the border. Buhari made this known shortly after the president of Benin Republic, Buhari, who was visiting him, expressed hope that he will put his integrity and intelligence to use in the war against insurgency. Our correspondent Pius has more.
The visit lasted barely a few minutes, but the time was enough for both leaders to discuss areas of interest to the two neighboring countries. After the closed-door session, the Beninese president told journalists that 55% of his country's population are Nigerians. This he attributed to the smooth bilateral relationship both Nigeria and Benin have built over the years.
55% of population of Benin come from Nigeria. You know, I'm at home here. So, just to remind you that my brothers, sisters of Nigeria, have recently chosen my senior, the President Buhari, as their president in order to lead their destiny.
In a few days from now, the President-elect Buhari will be sworn in as president. But President Yai wants him to use his experience, intelligence, and integrity to pilot the affairs of the nation, especially in the fight against Boko Haram. He says if Nigeria is stable, it will enhance regional trade and commerce.
And this for a reason well known to people, namely his integrity, his experience as a former head of state of great Nigeria, and our sub-region are facing today, mainly Boko Haram issue, peace issue, the enforcement of ECOWAS issue, rebuilding Nigeria, our sub-region, mainly Nigeria economy as the engine of the sub-region economy.
For his part, the president-elect says he will do everything necessary to bring to an end the lingering insecurity, especially in the northeast.
Our major problem now is the security challenges in the northeast is Boko Haram. And he has voluntarily identified himself with the sub-region there of Chad Basin as being part of them in trying to stamp out the insurgency in the northeast, which Nigeria is taking the biggest punishment, so to speak, in terms of its security and how it affects commerce and industry.
At the moment, the president-elect is conducting his affairs from the Defense House, which is seen as an extension of the presidential villa in Abuja. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The defense headquarters says a troop has foiled a plot by the terrorist group Boko Haram to use 2 female suicide bombers to cause havoc in Maiduguri. Security sources revealed that 2 female suicide bombers detonated bombs ahead of their attack on Ladi Kayamla near Maiduguri, the Kano State capital, with a plan to follow up with an attack, but were swiftly routed by the Nigerian army in the area. The military added that the attack, which was apparently diversionary with the intention of slowing down the ongoing assault in Sambisa Forest, was believed to have been carried out by terrorists escaping from their destroyed camp. Director of Defense Information Chris Olukolade, who confirmed the incident, however, reassured that normalcy had been restored, adding that the army have conducted mop-up operation of the area. And now the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Mahmood Mohammed, is not comfortable with the rate at which petitions are sent to National Judicial Council against court rulings. Justice Mohammed noted that there are also petitions against the Supreme Court, but argued that the NJC is not a place for expressing dissatisfaction with the court decisions. He said this as the swearing-in of Justice Amiru Sanusi as the 18th Justice of the Supreme Court. The Chief Justice urged the newly sworn-in judge to discharge his duties without fear or favor.
As your Lordship takes the oath of office and the oath of allegiance, I urge you to be faithful to those oaths as to your personal faith. Take it as oath of fidelity, an affirmation of incorruptible commitment, and a promise to the Almighty to continue to dispense justice without fear or favor, affection, or ill will. Thus, you must be steadfast in the discharge of your duties, emulating the greats of this court in fostering the supremacy of the rule of law in our dear nation.
I, Amir Sanusi, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that as Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, I will discharge my duties and perform my functions honestly, to the best of my ability, and faithfully in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the law. That I will abide by the Code of Conduct contained in the 5th schedule to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That I will not allow my personal interest to influence my official conduct or my official decisions. That I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, so help me God.
As reactions continue to trail the proposal for amendment of the Nigerian Constitution, some Nigerians say decisions taken by the government should be in the interests of Nigerians. A correspondent Patience Ajiboye interviewed some residents of Lagos and their views on the Constitution amendment or implementation of combat resolution, especially as the APC assumes federal office in 2 weeks.
While the standoff between President Goodluck Jonathan and the legislative arm on the amendment of the Constitution remains, and with the legislative represented by Senate leader Victor Undoma Egba having recently said the courts may be visited for a resolution, some Nigerians say they would prefer the implementation of confab resolutions decided by the 6 geopolitical zones in mind. While some buttress the uncertainty of the implementation of the Constitution, even if amended, others point out reasons for an amendment.
Things are not all right in the Constitution, you should know by now. You understand? The 6 geopolitical zone, we need to amend them. It's not evenly distributed. Forget the confab, leave the confab. They're only using that to gather money. Let's amend the Constitution so that it favors even the masses. The Constitution we have as it stands is only favoring those in power.
I would prefer the implementation of the confab. Why I prefer that, I believe that
A lot of Nigerians from all ethnic groups came together to really look into that and have formed that, did that confab program.
I want confab resolution. That one is better than constitutional amendment because most of the things, the critical things that we need in this country was mentioned that place and had been taken. This amendment of constitution, they will jump some of the constitution.
Some others say the necessary steps that will be beneficial to all is all that matters.
Constitution and the confab, they both meant well, but it depends on who are those implementing it. And are they implementing it with transparency or with truthfulness or to the betterment of ordinary Nigerians?
The problem facing this country goes beyond the amendment of the Constitution. The issue I think we need to face from a sincere point of view is that the truth is our leaders are not sincere.
Whether or not the Constitution is amended, Nigerians need policies that will favor the masses. Patience Ajiboye, CoreTV News, Lagos.
And now the Senate has passed the 2015 budget of the Niger Delta Development Commission and NDDC. The budget of 299.5 billion naira was passed almost exactly the way it was sent to the National Assembly about a month ago by President Goodluck Jonathan. Chairman Senate Committee on NDDC, James Manager, presented a report that was endorsed unanimously by his colleagues. The NDDC budget has a personnel cost of 16.1 billion naira and overhead of 10.4 billion, while a large chunk of it, 271 billion naira, is to go into project development in the Niger Delta states. The Plateau State government has put its current debt profile at 18 billion and not 200 billion, has been speculated. The Commissioners for Information and Communication and Finance, Abubakar Mohammed Badu and Davo Mang, said at a news conference in Abuja, that the clarification became necessary in order to put the record straight and let the public know that the outgoing administration had nothing to hide. Badu said the administration of Government Jonah Jang had inherited a debt of 80 billion naira on assumptions in 2007, but was able to defray it in its first tenure. He said the government borrowed 48 billion naira to finance the execution of capital projects. The incoming APC government in the state had been crying foul that they are about to inherit huge debts that will make it impossible for them to operate effectively. Hence, the quick clarification being provided by the outgoing Jonah Jang PDP government in the state, stating that the APC is only crying foul where there is none. You're still watching CoreTV News Hour. I will take a break now. I'll be back with more stories after this time out. Do join us again.
Women share the most amazing thoughts on national issues, and they do it passionately.
For most men that are educated, that are exposed, will see nothing to it.
The population and the level of poverty made me cry. No infrastructural development whatsoever. And you tell me Lagos is working?
That was an accident, and it was a one-off thing. Other than that, there has never been any situation in Nigeria where a Nigerian attacked anybody just because of where they came from.
Sharing the adorable word of women in politics every week, only on CoreTV News.
You're still watching CoreTV News Hour live from our Lagos studios. For more information on our news and other programs, like our Facebook page, is facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow at CoreTV News NG. For live streaming, log on to youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space, then news. A new visa policy abolishing re-entry visas to legal resident expatriates in Nigeria has been announced by the Nigerian Immigration Service. The development implies that the resident expatriates in the country need not to apply through the High Commission for visas. Once granted entry, the service explained in a statement signed by the Assistant Controller of Immigration Headquarters Lagos, Nuhu Ibrahim, that the new policy approved by the Federal Executive Council will attract inflow of foreign direct investment. It noted that the policy would encourage rapid industrialization and employment generation, adding that it will also attract innovators and highly skilled professionals into the country. Ibrahim, however, stated that the newly approved policy does not affect accredited diplomats serving in Nigeria. And now the All Progressives Congress insists that the Jonathan administration is not cooperating with the Transition Committee while describing Olisametu, spokesman of the People's Democratic Party, as a man with an incurable disdain for the truth. The party made a statement through its National Publicity Secretary Mohammed in Abuja. The statement read, as at May 14, 2015, just about 2 weeks to the May 29 handover date, no shred of information as to the status of governance from any ministry, department or agency of government has been given to the APC Transition Committee. The APC dared the PDP Publicity Secretary Olisametu or anyone to controvert the fact that not a line of handover note has been handed over to the Transition Committee. The party admonished the PDP spokesman to always cross-check the information available to him in order to separate rumors from facts, saying had he done that, he would not have issued a statement in which he tried to cast aspersion on the APC. And a midday fire outbreak on Thursday threw the federal secretariat in Abuja into confusion. Eyewitnesses said the fire started at about 1:35 p.m. on the 5th floor of the building housing the Education Ministry. CoreTV News crew on arrival at the scene noticed a large crowd of mainly civil servants who had rushed out of the complex. The spokesman of the Federal Fire Service told journalists that the fire had been contained and that the affected building evacuated.
The fire service responded promptly and massively as well with all this number of trucks. Thirdly, I interviewed the DPO in charge of this operation here today and the fire chief in charge of today's operation as well here. And they both assured that there's no cause for alarm and that they've identified the point where the fire started and that they're working on it.
What I suspect is electrical. No, the fire would have been easier to fight. I didn't mean that all the risers are working. The risers, there's no water in the riser. Because in a high-rise building like this, the building is supposed to fight fire on its own. You don't need to even roll hose, to the last floor. But if the riser is working, it's just a matter of coupling your hoses, delivery hoses, and you fight the fire there. This thing will have been off since.
"24 years after, with non-payment of entitlement, the 1991 retrenched workers of the Nigerian port authorities have cried out for justice in a protest as they accuse the NPA management of disregarding the rule of law and court judgment as it concerns collective industrial and labor agreements between employers and employees. The aggrieved workers under the umbrella called Nigerian Port Authority 1991 entrenched employees say life has been unbearable in the past 24 years since the alleged unjust sack by the management of NPA. A correspondent Omotayalo has more in this report.
These representative of the over 2,750 retrenched staff of the Nigerian Ports Authority on 10 June 1991 say they have suffered enough. They insist it is high time the NPA management paid their 24 years overdue entitlements. The national chairman of the group, now known as NPA 1991 Retirees, by virtue of the judgment of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, accuses certain cabal in the organization of frustrating the process to release their entitlement, therefore calling for an urgent intervention by the outgoing and incoming government.
So if they can come after this cabal and get rid of them from the system, I'm sure the newly appointed MD in NPA will do the right thing. The judgment is there. Just for them to follow the judgment is the problem.
All the affected ex-workers attested that some of their members have suffered early deaths as a result of poverty and uncertain future.
Nigerian Ports Authority acronym is no proper arrangements, and we refuse to be part of that rubbish. We don't want to toe that line. They should pay us our entitlements accordingly.
By right, if somebody, one person, even a cleaner in NPA, they start in 1991, merit 70 million, as it stands now. Because if you calculate the time they cheated us till now, a small person can make it 70 million. So we are claiming 70 million each. Not less than 70 million each person.
MPA is corrupt. MPA is wicked. Marriages have gone. Children are vagabond. And people are sitting on the money the federal government approved to them to pay the people. Jonathan, arise. Now, get the money.
The group leader blamed the late outcry on the former leadership of the retrenched employees group, claiming that at this stage, they would not rest until their demands are met.
So all we are saying is that MPA over time have cheated all of us. They made our hopes to be broken.
Omotayualo, CoreTV News, Lagos.
And our Lagos State Governor, Babatunde Fashola, has appealed to tradesmen and artisans in the state to learn better ways of organizing their businesses in order to prevent foreigners from taking over their jobs. Fashola made the appeal at the 6th Tradesmen and Artisan Week celebration. Our correspondent, Abiola Lowell's report is presented from our studios.
It's a Lagos State tradition where Governor Fashola interacts with artisans and tradesmen in the state. This year's event featured the graduation of 2,000 government-sponsored and retrained artisans. Addressing the artisans and tradesmen drawn from all local governments in the state, Governor Fashola reveals the aim of retraining the artisans is to upgrade their understanding of the trade and catch up with modern trends and technology in their business. He, however, enjoined them to put what they learn in the course of their training into action.
We can only train you. How well you can put your skill to use is not a matter of self-development. How much time do you spend practicing your skill?
While appreciating the government's effort, the President's Council of Tradesmen and Artisans, Bola Sanusi, says the training is having positive impacts on their members.
Continued training of our members has impacted positively on their productivity and level of patronage.
The event came to climax with presentation of award to deserving artisans.
You're still watching CoreTV News Hour. We'll take another break now. We're back with more stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
And outside Nigeria now, loyalist troops in Burundi have arrested at least 3 leaders of a failed coup against President Pierre Nkurunziza, a presidential spokesman said on Friday. Of those arrested on Friday, one was a police general and 2 others were army generals, including former defense minister Cyril Ndakirukiye. Spokesman Javels Abayo told the Reuters. He said Major General Godefroid Nyobare, who led the coup attempt, was still on the run. His whereabouts are not known to them. The couple leader, spokesman Venom Ndabanize, confirmed to AFP by phone that organizers of the coup had decided to surrender when loyalist troops arrested him. Deputy coup leader Cyril Ndayirukiye and another senior figure among the mutinous. And then Myanmar migrants on a boat stranded for a week in the Andaman Sea with no food or water say 10 people have died, while some are resorting to drinking urine. The fishing boat carrying about 350 people of the Muslim Rohingya minority has been refused entry to Thailand. Indonesia, Malaysia and Thailand have been turning away migrants' boats. Several thousand people are still believed to be stuck in boats off the coast of Thailand and Malaysia. Most are Rohingya Muslims who cannot go back to Myanmar, also known as Burma, where they are not recognized. Well, and that's a wrap on CoreTV News Hour. Many thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalafe. I'll see you again.